So today is the start of a whole new journey. It's a pretty special day. I bought my 15-year-old nephew a factory stock dirt track car. So a little history, starting around 2008, a guy I worked with at the time had a 76 El Camino dirt track car, and I picked it up for 800 bucks. My dad was more into drag racing, so when I drug home a junky old beat up dirt track car, he kind of raised his eyebrow a little, but he never said too much. After the first couple races, he started to really get into it, and then we drug my brother into it as well. So the three of us got to where pretty much every single weekend we were either working on the car or at the track with the car, and I had a lot of support from my dad and my brother for a lot of years. Went through several cars, raced pure stock, street stock mostly. Eventually, things change. After 6-7 years of racing, I sold the cars and moved, bought a house. Life changes. So back all those years when I was racing, my nephew was always there. He was scraping mud out of the fenders, helping beat out dents, anything he could to get his hands involved. And ever since then, he's always wanted to partake and, race a dirt track car. So he turned 15 a little while back, but he just got his driving permit the day before I bought the car. So I happened to be scrolling through Facebook in the morning before going to work, and I saw this car for sale. This car in particular, I actually do have some history with. I used to race against the car in street stock. The guy that owned it was real nice. I think he built the car himself from what I know. I would say the car was built somewhere around 2010, maybe 2009. It's actually still flying his colors, still has his number on it. The car is pretty much the way it was all those years ago, except for it's a lot more beat up now, naturally. That's what happens to dirt track cars, but it isn't too bad. So I got a really good deal on the car. Or at least I think I did. It's pretty much race ready. I'm going to make some changes just to make sure that I feel comfortable putting the kid in it. There's a couple bars that are bent and stuff that I think I'm going to replace. Of course, we may pull some body panels off and beat them out straight and make the car a little more presentable. It's September, so there's only a couple races left this year, and I don't foresee us making any of those. It'll probably start next season, so in April, when he'll get to start racing. So we have several months to kind of prep the car and get it ready. I'm sure we're going to have to move the seat for him. The seat, I'm 6'6", and even for me, the seat seems a little low. So I imagine he's going to have a tough time seeing with the seat as low as it is. So tomorrow, my brother is supposed to bring my nephew up to the house. I'm going to have the car tucked inside the garage to where he can't see it. When they get here, then I'll reveal the car to him. I'll try to catch that on camera. And then we'll go over everything that we're going to do to the car to get it ready for next year. Hopefully it isn't too much. A $3,000 race car, is it going to go out and compete with these $20,000 cars? Probably not. I know the car's been a competitive car for a lot of years. When I raced against it, it was a top 3 car almost every single weekend, but that's been a really long time ago. A lot of the technologies have changed. A lot of people are spending a lot more money these days on dirt track racing. Things aren't really the way they used to be, where, good old boys just grab a car out of a field and throw a cage in it in their garage. Most of these cars nowadays are, shop-built cars by a professional chassis builder. They got, cage offset, cage setback. A lot of them have aluminum bodies, but we're not going to let any of that get us down. I figure, $3,000 car may not be a first-place car, but $3,000 car is going to make a lifetime of memories for this boy, and you know, things he's never going to forget and he'll cherish. And it's going to bring a lot of smiles and a lot of fun and be a nice family outing for us, kind of get us back together and go out and enjoy some racing. So I'll show you around the car here a little bit and maybe a couple things that we're going to change on it. Okay, so I'm going to do a little walk around of the car here. It's definitely been what we'll call raced. It's been hit really good in the right rear corner right here. These are some of the bars that I'm going to be working on and replacing. Right rear frame rail is pushed up a little bit. Not really too concerned about it, but you can tell by the wrinkle right there in the quarter panel that it's definitely all been moved around pretty good. It is still mostly steel. It has steel floor pans, steel firewall. Well, pretty much 90% of the car is all steel. It doesn't have a lot of aluminum or anything else in it. Like I said, it is race ready to an extent. There's just some things that I'm not happy with personally. Just would like to make the car a little more drivable for the kid. So one of the things that I don't like is this clutch setup. The pedal is real sticky. It's either on or off. You have to dump it. It's really hard to get it on and off the trailer. So we're gonna be changing that. We're gonna be putting a regular clutch pedal in it. Make it a little easier to drive. One of the other things is this homemade shifter. It definitely lacks a little something in my opinion. And also gonna be patching the floor pan over here where it's rotted out. That's probably about it for the inside of the car, aside from I think we're gonna raise the seat up. The seat's mounted really low inside the car, even for me, as tall as I am. So it's probably gonna have to come up and maybe even forward. But luckily, the way they have it mounted looks really easy to do. If you see these pipes right here with the bolts through them, take those bolts out and you can slide the whole mount forward. So that'll be nice and easy. And then with it'll be mounted on the side here. Those will also be easy to move. This car does have a steering quickener in it right here. So it's more like driving a go-kart where, you know, half a turn on the wheel would be like a full turn regular. I remember all those years racing against this car, it always had these fender exit exhaust that would blow right in your ear. It's probably the reason why I'm half deaf, honestly. Of course, these days, running in factory stock, you cannot run headers, so it has manifolds on it now. I do believe I'm going to be coming up with some different front fenders, so we're probably just going to replace these front fenders. Because both front fenders are in pretty rough shape, as you can see. And here's one of the other bent bars. Now, whether or not I change that one, I don't know yet. We'll see. As far as suspension, I'm probably just going to leave it alone and see how it drives. I'll probably go out and do some test and tunes with the car before I hand it over to the boy, just to make sure it runs good. As you can see here, 2013. That was actually, I ran in those races back then, the street stock shootout races in Goliad. So this car was raced in Goliad at a track that was known as Shady Oak Speedway. It was a really nice track. I think it was close to half a mile long around the outside. The pits were massive with tons of oak trees. It was a really nice place, and unfortunately it is now closed down. Show you inside the trunk area here. So as you can see, the car has a lot of weight in it. These are all blocks of lead without any cage setback or offset. Really, I mean, that's one of the only ways to get these cars to handle, I guess, in a stock style class, is to add a lot of rear weight, because these cars are nose heavy. But yeah, that's the car. So tomorrow when the boy gets here, I'm gonna have it tucked in the garage here, and I'll
surprise him with it, and I suspect he's going to be ecstatic. And then he will not be ecstatic once I make him start working on it. The first thing we're going to do is get purple power out and pressure washer and get this nasty old thing cleaned up to where we can start working on it. I mean, it's just probably still has dirt and mud on it from 10 years ago. So for now, that's it. Right there.
Oh God! I told you, Dad.
What?
Do you see a dirt car?
What about it?
There's a dirt car sitting here.
You can't buy it.
You ready to scrape mud and beat dents again?
Yes, I am. I'm very ready for that.
Now, are you ready to drive it?
Wait, what?
I ain't driving it. You're driving it.
Who bought it?
I did.
Thank you.
Well, what do you think? You remember what car it is?
Monte Carlo, I guess. Something like that.
I know, but we
I don't know whose car it was.
Oh, this car raced in Goliad when I was racing the Camaro. It's 99% race ready. It
Very happy.
needs a little love that we're going to have to do to it over the off season. There's only 1 or 2 races left, so there's no way we're going to make it. We'll crawl in there and see if you fit in there.
Yeah.
That's going to be one of the things. I'm sure the seat's going to have to be moved. Although, I'm going to run the car in a practice before I put you in it.
all cleaned up. The clutch pedal sticks in the car, so it's extremely hard to drive. We're going to be changing out the clutch situation on it to make it drivable. Right now you pretty much just have to dump it. The clutch is either on or off. I got it all cleaned up. Now we're going to get it up in the air and try to figure out what all we want to replace before this boy goes racing. Okay, so the day's pretty much over. My brother and my nephew went home for the day after I revealed the car to him this morning. We pressure washed the car inside and out, got it all cleaned up, put some purple power in the engine bay, got all the old grease off and everything to get it ready to get worked on. Like I said, there's a few things that we're going to do to it. My brother actually made a list of everything that we want to try to get done so he can start getting some parts ordered. Right now it's September, so there's only a couple races left this season. Our goal is not to make any races this season. More than likely we'll start in March when there's practices. Get my nephew some seat time in practices before we send him out with a group of cars to actually run races. So, car looks a lot better now that it's cleaned up, but also reveals just how bent up the old body is, but that's all right. It's just an old dirt track car, but it looks pretty good. He seemed pretty excited and ready to go racing, so that's good. I guess that's gonna do it for now on this deal. I'll get back to y'all on it when we actually start working on it. For now, it's probably gonna be pushed to the side, at least till it starts cooling off outside. I still have the Suburban to finish up, which I worked on some more today. So, I'll see you next time.